go to start recording. So therefore people can go ahead and get the replay for this webinar. Super hot fire. Let's go. All right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and share over my screen, and we're going to go ahead and delve into, again, some of the strategies, some of the concepts that I found work for many people when it comes to losing weight. Now, this is what I like to call effective fat loss. And I do believe that most of us generally start to get resistance or friction when we feel like the approach to fat loss or weight loss doesn't actually meet you where you are in your life. And I do believe that that's where frustration comes in. And that's kind of when the wall kind of gets put up, because we get frustrated and then we feel like we're failures. And then we have poor accountability ourselves. And then generally what happens is then we start to go on the internet and we start to see all of these things, and we start to see all of these diets and all of these things that are working for other people, but we never actually understand it. Well, those people might have an entirely different life than I am. I might be a lawyer. I might have more kids than you. I might have more of a shortage of time than you. I might be on a sedentary position at a desk where you might be a construction worker or whatever it is, right? We're all coming from different backgrounds. So I do believe that the things I'm going to share with you guys will be applicable to all of you guys. So let's go and delve in to this presentation, if I may. Now, effective fat loss is the title. It wasn't very fancy. I'm not going to lie. I spent about 10 minutes looking at the screen to try to come up with like some cool name. But this is what I got. Effective, right? Lose up to 30 pounds in 90 days. All right. So let's go ahead and present this bad boy. The intro right here. These are some of the things we're going to be talking about. First and foremost, the most important thing in terms of weight loss, calorie balance. And then we're going to be talking about the components of metabolism, 3 body types, which everyone in here has a different body type, which again actually will mean that there is going to be different dieting or different strategies, specifically in the gym or nutrition, that will actually match more of your body type. And I'll explain what I mean by that. We'll go over your vision and why that's important, which I think that's actually one of the most important things I can provide for you guys today. And if you guys don't have a vision, then take this as a statistic. 70% of America are considered unhappy because they are unhappy at their workplace. And what I mean by that is if these individuals had a vision, right, and had something to believe in again, and I do believe that 70% probably come down with putting a vision into place. And we'll talk about why that's important. Nutrition, where it all happens. Exercise, want to prioritize building muscle. So even if the girl's in the room, you're not going to get bulky. I promise y'all. You just don't have the hormones like us men do. And so in terms of muscle, it's very important in terms of keeping your weight off. We'll talk about that. Stress and recovery, which I do believe that a lot of times this does not get talked about, especially as a man. We always want to kind of store things inside of us and we don't want to be vulnerable. And I think at times that sometimes just accumulates stress. All of us have it, right? And that stress usually leads to, what do you know? Poor habits. Well, I believe that this is a habit game. And what do poor habits do? It actually leads to weight gain, right? And so this is a habit game. So if we can go ahead and install habits into your life that are sustainable, that are meeting you where you are, you will win. And you will win all the freaking time. And I like winning. Go UT, by the way. University of Texas, baby. Let's go. So, and this is how weight loss works. Okay. Simple as this. Okay. Calorie balance. Now, you probably have heard of this. It means calories in versus calories out. And I'm a visual learner. So we'll go ahead and just go through this little diagram here because it's super easy for y'all to understand. So a calorie deficit, okay, is simply the amount of calories that you're eating through food and beverage, which we don't actually accumulate. Now, obviously, I'm drinking water, so there's zero calories. But if you're drinking juices and sodas and things like this, those are calories. And so we need to be eating less than what your total daily energy expenditure is. So the amount of calories that you are burning in a day needs to be more than what you're consuming through your food. Okay. Anytime you're consuming less than your calories out, that actually means you're in a caloric deficit. That's how we lose weight. Maintenance calories just means that you're generally eating the same amount of food, but you're not necessarily seeing the results on the scale that you want. Okay. And we'll talk about why maintenance actually is fluctuated dependent on your habits, which most people miss that. Your caloric surplus is anyone that wants to gain weight. And generally what happens is that you're eating more calories than what you're expending. right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this a step further, and we're going to talk about the expenditure. Okay. So if everyone's with me right now, what I'm saying is all of y'all want to lose weight or gain muscle, or you come into this to learn how to lose weight, you guys want to be specifically into a calorie deficit, right? And if anyone's not taking notes, I promise you, by taking notes, it's going to be a game changer, because there's going to be things in here that I promise you that will work. So you guys want to be in a caloric deficit. So what that means is we want to be eating less and we want to be drinking less than what we're expending. But most of us don't know what expenditure is. So let's go ahead and cover that. Okay. And so expenditure, okay, is the 4 components of metabolism. And to make this very simple, we have your total daily energy expenditure, and you have your calories in through food and beverage. We need to be eating less food and drinking less to make sure that your total daily energy expenditure is more. The 4 components of metabolism are what actually make up total daily energy expenditure, which is important to understand because there's some of these things get affected when we're in a caloric deficit. So your BMR, which basically is the amount of calories that your body is going to expend in a day to keep the lights on. This is just basically breathing. This is digestion. These are things that are just keeping the lights on in your body, just to function. Then you have your NEAT calories. Okay, this is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is actually non-voluntary movements. So things like fidgeting. So if you're like me, my foot under the table right now is going crazy. So with those small movements, it actually equates to you burning more calories in a day. Thermic effect of food. Whenever you're eating food, some food gets dissipated as heat through digestion. And so there is going to be some calories that are shaved off of that when consuming food. And then exercise. Okay. And exercise usually gets the praise, right? Oh, I want to lose weight. I'm going to do way more cardio. Or I want to lose weight. I'm just going to go into the gym. Guys, when it comes to losing weight, exercise actually only equates about 10% of your total daily energy expenditure, stating that calories are king. So if you guys could even start with just changing your eating habits, subtle at a time, making this a gradual approach, understanding that this is a forever game, you will still lose weight. Okay. And I think that a lot of us get overwhelmed because right now we're comparing ourselves to other people and saying, hey, these people are in the gym, they're crushing it. You know, my friend Danny, he's doing cardio freaking all the time. You know, he's doing HIIT all the time. He's changing his diet, he's crushing it. Well, what happens when you're a lawyer, like you said, Marcos, and you're super busy and you're stressed? That becomes very overwhelming. So small changes, small wins will always win. Okay. Very, very key. This, again, equates to your total daily energy expenditure, okay? This is just, again, the chart. BMR is about 55%. NEAT's about 10 to 15. Thermic effective foods about 5 to 10. Exercise is about 10. Okay, this basically equals 100%. It's your total daily energy expenditure. And everyone in here, based on your lifestyle, based on your height, okay, your age, your genetics, whether you're male or female, will determine a different total daily energy expenditure. And I'll actually take it a step further in saying that your previous habits and the way you're eating previously by coming into this program, trying different diets and things like that, will actually do things to your metabolism, which sometimes when talking about a calorie calculator will actually give you a different number than where your true total daily energy expenditure is. And that's where weight loss becomes challenging. Okay. Everyone with me so far? Yes? Everyone know how to lose weight? How do you guys lose weight? Someone spit it out. Someone spit it out loud. Hey, hello. Someone spit it out loud. How do you lose weight? What's that term? Colton?
Gotta basically burn calories and take less in than you like consume less calories than you are burning.
Absolutely. Awesome job. And if Colton wants to jump in at any point, I'm more than welcome for you to be interactive. Colton does have a degree in nutrition, and he's very, very knowledgeable, and he has an amazing approach when it comes to helping his clients. So love to have you here. So awesome job. Love the feedback. Thanks so much. I loved interaction. Okay. I don't want to just be the dude that's just talking and everyone's just, super bored. So let's make this super active. Okay. 3 body types. Everyone in here has got different body types, right? We have the ectomorph, we have the mesomorph, and we have the endomorph. Okay. Now looking at me, you probably can go ahead and guess which body type I am. I'm skinny, I'm lanky, and I'm a supermodel. So obviously I'm an ectomorph, right? Right. So ectomorphs generally are super thin, super skinny. And what that generally means is their metabolism are super high. And so generally someone that has a higher metabolism will probably be better off with digesting carbohydrates. For me, I love carbohydrates. Okay. I can have carbs and it'll just burn through me and it won't affect me. Now, that also will determine, okay, based on actually how much muscle I have on my body relative to how much body fat percent. Okay. So for general purposes, people that have higher body fat percent and less muscle may not use carbohydrates as well as someone that has more lean body mass on them and muscle. Okay. Ectomorph. Mesomorph is the guy we're jealous of in the gym. And that's the way I like to kind of describe this. This is someone that can lose weight quickly, but also can put muscle on very quickly. His genetics usually kind of require that. Okay. This person, again, may also have more of a moderate metabolism, not as fast as the ectomorph. And now the endomorph is generally the person that puts on weight very quickly. They could stare at something like a piece of pizza and they feel like they're going to gain weight. Generally, that says that their metabolism is a little bit slower. And so with the metabolism being a little bit slower and having a little bit more body fat percentage, this person may not use carbohydrates as best as someone that's an ectomorph. Okay. So you guys could probably get a general idea by looking at these pictures on where you are in terms of your body type. Okay. And so then next thing we're going to talk about, very important, is vision and goal setting. Like I said, guys, if you don't have a vision, if you don't have any goals, then what the heck are we working towards? Right. And so first, what I want y'all to do, and I'm going to challenge y'all because I'll record this and I'll send this back to y'all. But if you guys get the time in a quiet space, picture yourself 1 year from now. You know, what's your vision of yourself in that time? Who are you? What do you look like? And how do you feel? And by the way, health is only one bracket to happiness. I do believe that there's other. So career, finances, for me, it's faith, health, your mental and physical health, right? Your emotional health, maybe it's your social health. Like health is a sphere of things, and it's not only equated to the number on the scale. So your vision very well may be something that is a year from now that may be, hey, I have more finances. You know, I'd be able to support my family more. Maybe I'm getting promoted, or maybe I'm helping, 100 people this year, or maybe I'm down 50 pounds and I'm feeling more confidence than I ever felt in my life, right? The next time I go into a meeting, I notice that the people that I'm working with look at me, they compliment me and say, hey, what have you been doing, my man? Right? What is your vision? That's going to pump you guys up whenever you feel discouraged. Whenever sometimes we're judging ourselves on the scale and we're saying, I'm not good enough. Right? And so that's the first thing. You got to set your vision. Then you got to set goals. Right? So what are your goals? And I'm also a firm believer that if you have something on the calendar, such as a deadline, you're going to make goals a reality. An example of this, I'm actually in 4 weeks being a part of my first bodybuilding show. Okay. My first one. I'm stepping on stage for the first time. And what that had done for me is since I had a date on the calendar, I knew I had to be super effective. So vacation is a fantastic way for you guys to get motivated. Put something on the calendar, whether it's a Tough Mudder, whether it's a 5K, whether it's a 10K, whether it's just a turkey trot because Thanksgiving's coming up, whether it's, hey, I want to lose 30 pounds by Thanksgiving, whether it's, hey, at Christmas, I want to have an ugly sweater party, but I want to wear a medium instead of an XL this year. Whatever it is, put dates on the calendar because what we'll do is we tie lots of emotion to those dates, right? And so it's very important, guys, to think that if you make goals, also put something on the calendar so you can make it more of a reality. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and put this all together. Okay. I'm a huge fan of starting your day off right. Now, all of us probably know some successful entrepreneurs that we look up to, or maybe just successful people in your life, or some just happy individuals. I'm willing to bet that their morning routine doesn't necessarily look like this. You wake up, you press snooze a couple of times, then you're feeling rushed. So therefore, you look at yourself in the mirror real quick, maybe you wash your face, you go to the shower, you come out of the shower, you get dressed, and you're just rushing out the door. So maybe you just get caffeinated as crap, and then you go out the door and you're super highly stressed. Your cortisol starts to come up, and boom, you're already off the day with crazy cortisol. Well, what's that going to do to your mental health? It's going to be dog poop, right? And so I'm a firm believer that if you start the morning off right, whereas like, hey, you wake up in the morning, right? And maybe you're still a little bit stressed because you still have a little bit of anxiety because you have a lot of things you have to do today. But then what you do is you get up in the morning, right? You do maybe 5 minutes of deep breath work, and then you practice gratitude. And then when you go into the mirror, the concept of the accountability mirror is in place. And this is something that I found has helped my clients dramatically. Okay. And what that's basically going to do is I'm a huge fan of these right here, sticky notes. So that vision that you just talked about, what you could do is you can actually put your goals, your affirmations, and little cues reminding yourself of your vision and how far you're coming, such as small wins on your mirror. So every single time you wake up, you stare at yourself right in the mirror, you're having these little cues that get you going, that get you fired up, right? And they remind you of how far you've come, because this is a mindset game. Right. And if you're someone that hates a dirty mirror, go ahead and put this on a door that you have to open up and physically look at every single time, because habits are the game changer in this. And I know that if you make a cue obvious, such as a word that's going to impact your day, you're probably going to crush your weight loss goals and crush the daily habits that you need to consistently repeat. Right. Because it's just a repetition game. Okay. So the accountability mirror. So daily affirmations, you guys can read those. Obviously very important. All right, let's get into the nitty gritty. This is why you guys came here, right? You didn't want to hear about mindset. You didn't want to hear about, Colton talking about fluff and rainbows and skills, right? You guys want to talk about results, right? And that's really probably some of the reason why a lot of us tend to start things and then start to get frustrated because they don't see progress, right? Now, these are some general guidelines, okay? These are general guidelines right now, okay? I'm not necessarily going to say that this is going to be the best, nutritional protocol for everyone. Now, will it work to lose weight? Yes, 110%. It absolutely will. But someone like Colton, who's a professional, okay, when it comes to nutrition, is probably going to go ahead and set you guys up a different caloric goal based on a lot of different things. But I'm talking to a big room right now, so I can't really have the time to do that, right? And that's why it's important to refer people out to Colton, right, in terms of people that are professionals. So this is very general, but it works. Okay. You're going to multiply your goal body weight. Right. So your goal body weight, this is an ideal body weight for you. And I like to tell people that it's actually a weight that you've been at before that's probably pretty realistic. So it's not going to be something like, oh, like I need to lose 200 pounds. That's a lot of weight. Right. So an example is my goal weight is 185 pounds. Let's say that I'm walking around at like 200 pounds. Okay, or like 215, then 185 pounds is very realistic. We know with common sense what's realistic and what's not. Okay. And so, and again, I'm not saying that it's impossible to lose 200 pounds. I think it's absolutely possible, but it's not going to happen in 90 days. Right. So let's just be very clear on expectation. Okay. So don't start this with failed expectations. Multiply it by 12. 185 by 12 is 2,220 calories. And those are your daily calories. Okay. I'm going to take this a step further. This is where flexibility comes in. 2,220 times 7, what's 7 days in a week? You have 15,540 calories that you can eat during the week. This is a caloric deficit. That's how you lose weight. Okay. But if you look at this with finances really quick, if you have $2,220 to spend in a day, okay, you have two options. You can spend all of it. You could probably spend a little bit more, or you can spend less of it. As long as you're spending the same amount of dollars in a given week, 15,540, then you will lose weight. That is a caloric deficit. So a lot of times, like people like to get hung up, but I didn't hit my calories perfectly today. Well, gosh, man, you're setting yourself up for failure. So let's make this a range. Okay. Generally speaking, you can go low or high. So 2,120 to 2,220, or you could go 220 to 2,320, and giving yourself a 100-calorie range is going to give you a little bit more comfort and ability to make sure that you feel progress. Progress makes momentum. Momentum wins, right? So what is this right here? This is a success calendar. Okay. Now, if you want to win, I suggest you doing this. This is an absolute game changer. Now, I notice that there's 3 things that you need to track, okay, daily. That's as simple as this. If you track your calories, you do a workout. And again, that doesn't have to be every day. It's just the amount of workout that you need for your body. And you hit your steps, okay? Not required, but also important. Water, sleep, recovery, right? If you meet 24 days out of 30, that's about 80% consistency. And we'd like to throw that percentage right around all the time, 80% consistency. But let's take this a step further. Every single time you track these three things, you take a green marker, make a big check. This is a wall counter, again, about cues, right? Put a wall counter right in front of your eyes. So when you wake up, guess what you see? You see yesterday's success. You see yesterday that you showed up differently that you did previously, that you showed up differently the previous year, right? You showed up differently. What are you going to do? You're going to attribute that. You're going to see that success, right? What happens if you don't? You hit a red X. 24 days, 24 green check marks is 80% consistent. If you do that for 90 days, I guarantee you will lose weight. If you do not, please come back to me. I'll give you a free month of coaching. And that's just, I mean, seriously, it works. Okay. And the reason why it works is because you're getting feedback. You're giving yourself feedback and it's positive, right? And it is a little bit of immediate gratification, which all of us like. Okay. So track those three. All right. Diet structures. We're going to go ahead and talk about different lifestyles here. Okay. Now, obviously, I put in a bunch of value in this, and I know that it might take a little bit of time, and I do apologize. If anyone has any questions at the moment, please just shoot them out. Okay. I just got done telling you guys that flexibility is key. Flexibility will give you, okay, again, the freedom for you guys to be able to go on date nights, maybe with your partner, maybe for y'all to go to like the ball game because maybe your son plays baseball and there's a concession stand there, or hey, maybe you guys, like Applebee's, like 2 for $25. Maybe y'all are just super busy and you have to eat things on the go. Okay. A straight deficit is this. It's basically saying that you're going to track the same amount of calories daily for 7 days. Okay. Now, this might work for some people that are creature of habit. Okay. But it may not necessarily work for someone that's super busy. This is usually, again, where a lot of people start to stress out because they get so obsessed at tracking calories, right, that they have to meet the same requirement. Next thing, number 2.
Colton,
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm just curious when it comes to diet structures and nutrition. So, you're not reinventing the wheel. This is, straightforward advice. It's good advice. It's the way that we are. It's basically the plan as to how we attack um our daily lives as to, to be able to benefit and lose weight. Where does the body types fall in here? Because I've always heard about that. I've been hearing about it more and more. I've come to the conclusion that I'm a endomorph, but then
You are.
after that, you hear, so this is, this is what you do, but it's kind of like one size fits all kind of advice. How does it differ between body types? And I don't know if that's the right, this is the right time to ask you this, but
No, it's a great question. It's a great question, and this is a cliche answer, but it all comes down to the system that actually meets you where you're at with your time. And so I think that time, obviously, we all have the same time in a day, but generally speaking, whether you're an endomorph, an ectomorph, or a mesomorph, as long as you're still meeting a calorie deficit, you will lose weight. Now, the question is how can we actually develop a life system that meets you where you are right now in your life with how much time you have, generally speaking, of kids, your career, right? Things like this. And generally what happens with like other people maybe chiming in, like random emails, random calls. You know how it goes, right? So therefore, you need to have a system that actually has enough flexibility for you to be able to not feel like you're failing. At the end of the day, if all of us here feel like we're winning and we're feeling progress, then you're going to be less discouraged. And that's the key. So the more you can start to feel less discouraged, I'm going to challenge y'all that you're going to see weight loss happen. But I will tell you that it really just comes down to a calorie deficit. So even despite the body types, I was really just demonstrating that just to get an idea of it. I wouldn't necessarily give your body type power. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of us are comparers. I'm someone that has dealt with self-sabotage and anxiety for most of my life. And so I love comparing myself. And so I always used to be the dude to just go into the gym freshman year and say, dude, that guy's so big, I'm never going to be like him. Or, hey, maybe you're saying I'm so fat, I'm never going to lose weight. And you're saying I'm an endomorph, so I'm different than a mesomorph because Colton just told me that a mesomorph has it easier than I do. Or an ectomorph is someone that doesn't have to worry about how much food he eats. We're starting to give that body type power, right? And anytime that we put power somewhere, our attention and direction follows. And so please hear me out here. Your body type doesn't necessarily influence the direction that you need to go with. Okay. It really just matters about you meeting a caloric deficit and finding a system that works for you. So with that being said, some of these examples here, number 2, and this is one that I feel like works for a lot of people that are busy, which is basically 5 low days and 2 high days. And so I told you guys that it doesn't necessarily matter, the amount of calories that you basically consume on a day-to-day basis, as long as the end of the week, you're eating the same amount. So in this way, this is just a little bit more structured. It's saying that you're going to have 5 low days and you're going to have 2 high days in the weekend, right? So Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday. When you drink alcohol, maybe you're like Colton and you go to Margaritas and you do a taco challenge. And yes, he does do a taco challenge. What I mean here is that you can literally just choose any amount of calories that you want for the weekends, anticipating your plans. And that's the key. As long as you're a good planner, you're going to crush it. You're going to crush it in this, but you need to be a good planner. So if I knew my boys were in town and I wanted to have 2,800 calories on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, the total amount of calories that would equate to is 5,600. Knowing that my total amount of calories or dollars I need to spend in a week, I would subtract that. I would get $9,820 left to spend in the week. And I would divide that by the 5 days, which would then change my calorie goal, my daily calorie goal, to 1964. So generally speaking, same amount of dollars, more flexibility. I drank a little bit of alcohol. I had some quesadillas. I win. I lose weight, right? Flexibility. And so that's one, okay? The extended weekend, this might be for people that might be, again, busy during the week. Maybe they eat less or more in the weekends. So maybe you're someone that doesn't like breakfast, for an example. This is going to be 4 low days, 3 high days. Again, maybe just an extended weekend. Maybe you have more plans for this week, and maybe you choose this option. You have 4 low days and 3 high days. Again, at the end of the week, I have 4 low days at 1975, 3 high days at 2,500. Same amount of dollars. You still lose weight, right? Now, this right here might be, I would say, more of a rapid fat loss protocol. And I wouldn't necessarily say it's always going to be the best option, but I will tell y'all, if someone is over, I would say 30% body fat, maybe even higher than that, then sometimes the individual that it gets really discouraged looking at the scale could benefit from this approach. And that would basically say in the first month is a blitz month. And this is primarily just to get yourself bought in. Let me be very clear, which would be a 24-hour fast on Sunday. And I've done this with a couple of clients who felt like, Colton, I need to see results, because that's the first thing that they need to buy in. And so sometimes fasting on Sunday for at least a month, which is a blitz month, but not changing your calories Monday through Saturday, you will obviously see lots of benefit from that. And there's lots of disciplinary, things that can happen with fasting as well in terms of mental fortitude. And sometimes too, obviously there is lots of benefits that come with intermittent fasting and fasting alone. We could talk about those, but that's a whole conversation in itself. But again, this is really more for the person that needs to see success quickly. And it is a rapid fat loss protocol. So don't do this more than 30 days. So go back to the normal in second month. That's just, again, for more people that just get discouraged. I would say this is a little bit more prevalent. A lot of conversations I have, a lot of people love intermittent fasting, right? This is a huge terminology. Oh, okay, yeah, I want to lose weight, just do intermittent fasting, right? And everyone thinks that it's just like the end all be all. It needs to be a little bit more structured. And so this is just, again, general guidelines, but this is kind of some things I've seen that work for a lot of the individuals I work with. So people that are busy during the week and don't want to eat breakfast, right? Stick to an eating window of a 16-hour fast. When does the fast start? It starts at after you stop eating. So if I stop eating at 8, then actually my fast starts at 8:01 because I'm technically fasted. Then going to sleep, right? That equals, again, you want to just fast for 16 hours. Whatever time 16 hours is done, that's when you would have your first meal. And generally speaking, I like to keep this as a plating system. So having a lunch, a dinner, and a protein shake. Generally speaking, if you keep your lunch around 500 to 600 calories and dinner around 600 to 800 alongside with a protein shake with almond milk or oat milk, it is a good plating system that you'll probably see results on. And the reason why I'm giving you little calorie goals per meal here is it allows flexibility in the sense that even if you go out to like Chick-fil-A and you choose something that's 500, 600 calories, it actually still meets the requirement of lunch. Same thing for dinner. Now, I'm not talking about calorie quality here. Calorie quality is going to be, again, more whole foods, probably getting more vegetables and poultry, fish, beef, right? Eggs, Greek yogurt, more whole foods. Generally speaking, obviously, the more whole foods we can incorporate into your diet, you're probably going to get better benefit You're just going to be getting better vitamins and minerals when having those foods, and more fiber, probably going to make better digestion and things like this. Okay. Carb cycling. This is again for the lifters. So for y'all, for lower body days and upper body days, generally upper body days, you need less carbohydrate. So generally speaking, 125 grams carb and 200 grams carb on lower body. This will actually deter, based on these numbers, I'm just giving numbers relative to what has kind of worked in the past. For everyone in here, it may look different because everyone's macros will be different. But just generally speaking, low and high days with carb cycling will subconsciously, again, on the weekly deficit, you'll actually subconsciously lose weight. And I'm doing this right now, 4 weeks out from my show, because now my carbohydrate, I'm starving, but it's just another way for me to subconsciously hit my caloric deficit every week. Okay. All right. If you hate what I just said, and you're like, dude, I'm confused, Colton, I hate you, like I'm already building resentment, then stick to these guidelines. Okay. And you will see weight loss. Okay. Intermittent fasting in the AM, and this is optional, but it is effective. Eat 6 to 8 ounces of protein cooked with every meal. It's about 20 grams to 40 grams per protein, per plate. Avoid processed carbs as much as we can. That means whole foods, right? Whole complex carbohydrates, quinoa, brown rice, potato, brown pasta, things like this that are going to be a little bit less processed than more white refined sugars. 80% whole foods. Again, this is really just the perimeter of the grocery store. Eat until you're 80% full. Eating slowly is very, very impactful. Generally eat less calories just by eating slowly alone. Chew slowly. That's another thing that's really good. Again, practicing eating slowly. Drink about 100 ounces of water daily. These are general guidelines. Water obviously does depend. 8,000 steps daily. Work out at least 90 minutes a week. So basically 30 minutes times 3, right? Generally weights will do just fine. Try to, limit fast food, and then limit your alcohol for at least low calorie beverages like a vodka soda, like 3 of them a week. You will lose weight. This is if you hate me, right? And I do think that these general guidelines you will see success. Now, again, it does require discipline. Okay. We're going to go ahead and just kind of breeze through this so I can kind of get through this real quick. But exercise, building muscle is key. Why do you want to build muscle? Well, muscle basically helps keep your weight off for life. Diet and exercise in combination, you're going to be more prone to keeping your maintenance weight for the rest of your life, or life weight. Okay. When you're dieting alone and you're not building muscle, then generally speaking, what's going to happen is your muscle is not necessarily going to replace that body fat that you're losing, right? So your body composition or body fat percentage is not going to come down as much with muscle. So in other words, you're not going to have as much lean body mass. But if you have more lean body mass, what it's going to help you with is going to help you speed up what's called your resting metabolic rate. So you're going to be burning more calories at rest. I already told you guys you can use carbs more effectively. The reason why that is because carbs get stored as glycogen, and you basically can hold 10 grams of glycogen per 1 pound of muscle. So the more lean body mass you have, the more effectively you're going to be using carbohydrates. And also protein helps us, feel full, satiating. So you will adhere to a caloric deficit much better. Working out 2 times a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times max, depends on what you guys, are in this for with time and whatnot. But these are just general concepts. If you're a 2-day or weaker, 2 full body days. If you're a 3-day weaker, lower, upper, full body, or a chest, shoulders, triceps mix, back and biceps and legs. Workout 4 times a week, lower, upper, and then workout 5 times, legs, chest, triceps, back, biceps, legs, shoulders, just splitting up your muscle groups, right? And again, this could be a whole conversation, exercise alone. These are just general guidelines. Manage your stress and your recovery, right? Very important. I already kind of talked about a morning routine, 5-minute deep breath, gratitude, accountability mirror, shower, get ready, eat and leave, right? This is just, a really important part of your day, which I think is important. Managing your stress. These are some things that really work. If you guys never got introduced to box breathing, very impactful. So if anyone's stressed or has mental health or anxiety, anything like that, Box breathing, simple concept would be that I'm going to inhale through 4 through my nose. I'm going to hold for 4 at the top. I'm going to breathe out for 4, and then I'm going to hold for 4 at the bottom. What this will do is it'll tap into your parasympathetic response in your brain, which is going to decrease your cortisol, which is going to decrease your heart rate, that is going to help on the pooling of blood. And it's also just going to make sure that you're more relaxed, right? And we're not in a such heightened, hurry state that our culture puts on us, right? Yoga 1 to 3 times a week. This is just, again, general guidelines. Yoga has been massive for me. That's why I put it in there. So a little bit of bias there, to be honest with you, but I do think that yoga is phenomenal as far as flexibility goes and deep breath, right? One of the practices of yoga is breathing. Again, breathing, right? Journaling is a concept that I've used in my past. Anytime I'm pissed off, I literally just get a pen and a paper, and I just write what comes to mind, right? Honestly, some of the stuff I put in journals in the past, probably not the best to share with public, but did it help me? Absolutely. Because I got whatever I was feeling out, right? Again, tapping into your parasympathetic response, nature, right? We're individuals, right? We're mammals, we're animals. We need to be in nature, walking, right? Anytime you walk, you can clear your head. Podcasts, things like that work. Time blocking, making sure you actually have a time, you're time blocking your scheduling. So therefore, you have a start of the day, end of the day, and you actually give yourself time for family time. You give yourself time for you, right? And you're not freaking putting all of your work and emphasis into making money with work. And it might be a controversial topic, and it might piss people off, but it's true. We're in America, the American dream, baby, right? From the time we've been young, we've been conditioned that we need to make money. We need to support your family, right? And that as men, we take that very seriously, and I admire the hell out of it. But what it will do is it'll put your health secondary, right? And also it'll put your mental health secondary too. And so we might love what we do, and we might be addicted to it and obsessed with growth. And I'm all for it because I'm definitely part of that too. But all I'm saying is we need to give time to yourself. We absolutely need to give time to yourself, right? And your family. Stretching. These are just general guidelines, right? 5 stretches at the end of the workout, before bed, foam rolling, before exercise, sauna, cold therapy. You guys probably have heard about these things. These are recovery techniques, and they work. And to just kind of peel this off before we take questions, if you guys want extra support, what I want to do for anyone in this room and anyone that gets the recording, anyone that wants to, watch this on replay, if you guys need any more support, I'm offering you guys my time for any additional support. Free 10-minute intro call so I can just get to know you a little bit better, your challenges, your goals, so I can support you on this journey. You can go ahead. I'll put the link in here. If you guys want to book a call with me, I'm more than happy to set some time aside with you guys and just value. I'm not coming from a salesy approach here, guys. I do care about people a lot. I'm an empath. And this is a huge part of my life. It gives me joy, and I just really appreciate for everyone being here today. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. So therefore, that's not too long. We'll open this up for discussion and really quick.